evening. Detective James Miller here, case file reviewer with the State Bureau of Investigation, Special Historical Division. Tonight, I'm examining one of Idaho's most persistent paranormal mysteries, a case that spans over a century and continues to generate reports even today. What you're about to hear comes from multiple witness testimonies, historical records, and my own investigation into the alleged hauntings at Pocatello High School. I've spent 34 years documenting unexplained phenomena across America, and few locations have provided as consistent a pattern of supernatural occurrences as this historic institution. Before we begin, I must emphasize that the Bureau maintains official neutrality on paranormal explanations. My job is to document, analyze, and present the facts as they appear in our records. What you choose to believe, well, that's entirely up to you. Let's open file, Idaho, 1892 PHS, the Pocatello High School hauntings. Date of initial report, March 18, 1892. Original incident, status, unexplained. If you have a story, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel. Pocatello High School stands as one of Idaho's oldest educational institutions. The original structure was completed in 1892, though the current building dates primarily to 1914 following a devastating fire. Located at 325 North Arthur Avenue in Pocatello, the school's red brick facade and classical architecture give little indication of the tragedies that have unfolded within its walls. My involvement with this case began in February 2019, when the Bureau received a formal request from the Pocatello Historical Society to review accumulated reports of unexplained phenomena at the school. While local authorities had documented numerous incidents over decades, no comprehensive analysis had been attempted. Given the historical significance and pattern consistency, I was assigned to compile and evaluate all available evidence. What makes the Pocatello High School case particularly compelling is not just the volume of reports, but their consistency across generations. Students and faculty separated by decades have described identical phenomena with no possible connection between witnesses. The earliest documented account dates to 1892, just months after the school's opening, when a young female student reportedly took her own life in what was then the third-floor girls' bathroom. According to the original police report, dated March 18, 1892, 17-year-old Clara Bodine was found hanging from a ceiling pipe by a janitor making his evening rounds. The report notes that Clara had been despondent over a failed romance and had left a note apologizing to her parents. Standard procedure for the time. The case was quickly closed as suicide. The girl buried in an unmarked grave, as was common practice for suicide victims in that era, and the school returned to normal operations within days. However, within weeks, students and faculty began reporting unusual occurrences in and around the bathroom where Clara died. Music teacher Margaret Wheeler's journal, preserved in the Pocatello Historical Society archives, contains this entry from April 29, 1892. The girls refused to use the third-floor facilities after Lillian Greaves and Sarah Townsend claimed to hear sobbing from within an empty stall. Headmaster Wallace insists it's merely the building settling or pipes contracting, but I myself heard a young woman's voice clearly say, "I'm sorry," when I was alone in the corridor yesterday evening. I said nothing to the students, as not to encourage hysteria, but I cannot explain what I heard. By the turn of the century, the Weeping Girl of Pocatello High had become established local folklore. When fire destroyed much of the original building in 1914, students and community members expressed hope that the tragedy and the haunting would be laid to rest with the old structure. They were wrong. The rebuilt school, which remains standing today, soon developed its own pattern of inexplicable events. And what's particularly notable is that these new phenomena appeared to be distinct from the original haunting, suggesting multiple spiritual presences rather than just Clara Beaudine's restless spirit. In 1916, school records indicate that a student named Henry Vettner fell to his death in the main stairwell, apparently tripping while running between classes. Beginning in the 1920s, students and faculty reported seeing a male figure descending the stairs only to vanish midway down. Maintenance workers complained of tools being moved overnight when the building was locked, and several reported hearing running footsteps on the stairs when no one was present. Let me read from an interview conducted in 1963 with Walter Chambers, who served as head custodian at Pocatello High from 1948 to 1962. You ask if I believe in ghosts? I didn't when I started working at that school. 14 years later, I'll tell you this much. There are things in that building that don't have any business still being there. The boy on the stairs, I've seen him maybe a dozen times. Always the same. Coming down from the 3rd floor, wearing clothes like from the old photographs in the trophy case. He never makes it past the 2nd floor landing. Just gone, like someone switched off a film projector. And the girl in the bathroom, the one they built over after the fire. That bathroom's been gone 50 years, but we still get cold spots right where it used to be. Temperature drops 20 degrees in that one spot, no matter what we do with the heating system. The most significant development in the case came in 1975, when then-Principal Robert Kingsley authorized the installation of a new fire alarm system throughout the building. Electricians working in the auditorium reported equipment malfunctions and battery drainages inconsistent with any known electrical issue. One worker, Diego Hernandez, refused to return after reporting that he had been physically pushed while working alone on a ladder. The Bureau dispatched an investigator, Agent Thomas Calloway, who documented the following in his report dated November 12, 1975. Worker claims indicate possible electromagnetic anomalies in the southwest corner of the auditorium. Equipment readings show temperature fluctuations of 1523 degrees Fahrenheit, with no identifiable source. Audio recording equipment captured unexplained low-frequency sounds, not audible to human ears during recording. While these phenomena could potentially be attributed to structural or electrical peculiarities of the building, they warrant further investigation. Paranormal activity cannot be confirmed, nor entirely ruled out based on available evidence. Research into the school's history revealed that during the 1940s, the auditorium had been temporarily converted to a triage and treatment center during a scarlet fever outbreak that killed 6 students. One of these students, 14-year-old Rebecca Palmer, reportedly died on stage during a school performance when her illness suddenly worsened. School yearbooks from 1945 include a memorial page dedicated to the Angels of Pocatello High, with Rebecca's photo prominently featured. By the 1980s, the school's reputation had spread beyond Pocatello. Several paranormal investigation teams requested access, though most were denied by the school board, which was understandably concerned about the institution's academic reputation. However, in 1984, as part of a broader study on historical buildings in the Northwest, Dr. Eleanor Westfield of Washington State University was granted limited access to conduct environmental testing. Dr. Westfield's scientific approach yielded some of our most valuable data. Using equipment designed to measure air quality, electromagnetic fields, and acoustic anomalies, her team documented several unexplainable events. I had the opportunity to interview Dr. Westfield in 2020, shortly before her passing. Here's what she told me. What struck me about Pocatello High wasn't just the presence of anomalies, but their consistency and repeatability. In most allegedly haunted locations, phenomena are sporadic and difficult to document. At PHS, we could virtually guarantee unusual readings in specific locations at specific times. The third-floor corridor showed temperature drops of 10-15 degrees between 3:15 and 3:45 p.m. daily. The auditorium produced electromagnetic spikes every evening around 8:20 p.m. And the main stairwell, this was fascinating, showed consistent barometric pressure fluctuations that defied normal atmospheric physics. These weren't subtle effects requiring specialized equipment to detect. My graduate students could feel the temperature drops. Our recording equipment would inexplicably malfunction, then work perfectly when moved just 10 feet away. I entered that study as a skeptic. I left, less certain of my skepticism. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, reports continued with remarkable consistency. The Pocatello Police Department maintains a file of incident reports from the school, most classified as unexplained disturbance or suspicious circumstance. While many could be attributed to pranks or typical high school mischief, others defy conventional explanation. I'll read from Officer Sarah Langston's report, dated October 12, 2001. Responded to silent alarm activation at Pocatello High School at 23 and 17 hours. Building was secured upon arrival. Conducted sweep with K-9 unit. No signs of forced entry or intrusion detected. Security system indicated motion in third floor north corridor at 23 and 15 hours. Review of security footage shows corridor lights flickering, followed by what appears to be a female figure moving from east to west. Figure is not clearly visible, but appears to be wearing long, outdated clothing. K-9 became agitated in this area despite no detectable presence. Recommended technical inspection of security system and lighting circuits. Perhaps the most compelling evidence emerged in 2013, when the school installed a new digital security system with motion-activated cameras. On December 16, 2013, cameras in the main hallway captured footage that subsequently went viral on social media and paranormal websites. The video, which I've personally analyzed frame by frame, shows an empty hallway after school hours. At approximately 8:17 p.m., the lights dim noticeably, though they don't completely extinguish. A transparent figure appears to move from one classroom doorway to another. Most striking is that the figure appears to be wearing clothing consistent with styles from the early 1900s. Technical analysis confirmed that the footage had not been tampered with or digitally altered. School officials initially suggested a reflection or camera malfunction, but maintenance records indicated no electrical work or anomalies reported for that system. The camera continued to function normally before and after the incident. In 2019, when I began my formal review of the case, I conducted interviews with current and former students, faculty, and staff. What emerged was a remarkably consistent narrative spanning generations. Jenny Carrington, who attended Pocatello High from 2015 to 2019, described her experience. Everyone knows about the ghosts at PHS. It's just part of going there. My mom went there in the 90s, and she had stories too. The weirdest thing that happened to me was during drama practice my junior year. We were using the auditorium late, maybe 6:30, and I went backstage to get a prop. There was this girl sitting on one of the old trunks, wearing this really old-fashioned dress with like a high collar and everything. I thought she was in costume for some other production, so I said hi. She looked right at me but didn't say anything, just looked really sad. When I turned to grab what I needed and looked back, she was gone. No doors had opened. Nowhere she could have gone that fast. Later, I saw a picture from the 1940s in one of the display cases, and I swear it was the same girl. Rebecca something. She died during a performance or something. I never told my drama teacher because I didn't want people thinking I was crazy. Former English teacher Martin Holbrook, who taught at the school from 1978 to 2011, provided this account. Teaching in a haunted school for 33 years gives you a certain perspective. You either become a believer, or you develop elaborate explanations for the inexplicable. I started as a skeptic naturally. The cold spots were drafts. The strange sounds were the building settling. The glimpsed figures were tricks of light and shadow. But after enough experiences, your rationalizations begin to feel more far-fetched than the simple explanation. We were sharing the building with former students who never left. My classroom was on the 3rd floor, and at least once a month I'd arrive to find all my desk items rearranged. Not vandalized or stolen, meticulously rearranged in patterns. Sometimes it would be all the pens lined up by color. Other times, books stacked in perfect pyramids. Security confirmed no one had entered my locked classroom. My theory. Clara Bodine had been a detail-oriented student in life, and remained so in death. I'll continue with this case file in a moment. What's particularly notable about the Pocatello High School hauntings is the increase in documented phenomena that occurred after the school installed new surveillance systems in 2017. With high-definition cameras covering nearly every hallway, stairwell, and common area, unexplainable events could no longer be dismissed as mere rumor or adolescent imagination. On January 22, 2018, the overnight security feed captured what has become known as the auditorium incident. At precisely 2:17 a.m., all cameras in the building experienced simultaneous interference, lasting exactly 46 seconds. When the feed resumed, the auditorium doors, previously closed and locked, stood wide open. The motion sensors had been triggered, but security personnel who responded found the room empty and undisturbed. Except for one detail. The piano on stage, a 1928 Steinway grand that had been donated to the school in the 1950s, was found with its keyboard cover open. School officials initially suspected student trespassers, but subsequent review of all entry points showed no evidence of forced entry, and no alarms had been triggered aside from the auditorium motion detector. I interviewed Marcus Delgado, the security officer who responded that night. I've worked security at PHS for 7 years, and I've seen enough to know that place has issues. That night, I was monitoring feeds from the security office when everything went static. Once the system came back online, I immediately saw the auditorium doors open. Protocol says I should call for backup, but it was almost 2:30 a.m., so I decided to check it myself. The room was cold. Much colder than the rest of the building, and completely empty. But the piano was open, which was strange because the music director is meticulous about keeping it covered. As I was checking around the stage, I heard 3 distinct piano notes. Not random notes, but like someone deliberately pressed C-E-G, a simple triad. I was maybe 10 feet from that piano, and nobody was there. I'm not ashamed to admit I backed out of that room and called my supervisor. We reviewed the footage together, but there's just that 46-second gap. Then the open doors. Whatever opened that piano never appeared on camera. Historical research revealed that in 1946, a student named Charlotte Ewing had been a promising pianist, who frequently practiced in the auditorium after hours. According to yearbook records and local newspaper archives, Charlotte had been preparing for a prestigious competition when she contracted scarlet fever during the outbreak. She died before she could perform, and the school music program established a memorial scholarship in her name that continues to this day. I should note that several witnesses over the decades have reported hearing piano music coming from the auditorium when the room was empty and locked. The notes described are consistently identified as Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major, which, according to Charlotte's obituary, was to have been her competition piece. In October 2021, I arranged for Dr. Eliza Braun, a paranormal acoustic specialist from the University of Colorado, to conduct a controlled experiment in the auditorium. With permission from school administrators, Dr. Braun installed sensitive audio recording equipment throughout the space, focusing particularly on the piano and stage area. The equipment ran continuously for 7 consecutive nights. The results were remarkable. Dr. Braun's report states, on 3 of the 7 monitored nights, audio equipment captured musical passages between 2:10 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. The recordings contain 18-25 seconds of what analysis confirms to be portions of Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major. The sound profile is consistent with the specific Steinway model present in the auditorium, including its particular acoustic signature and the slight A-flat key imbalance noted in the preliminary instrument examination. What cannot be explained is how these sounds were produced. Simultaneous video recording shows no visible presence at the piano, and motion sensors registered no activity. Thermal imaging detected a localized temperature decrease of approximately 12 degrees Fahrenheit around the piano during each of the audio events. These findings suggest either sophisticated tampering with multiple independent monitoring systems or acoustic phenomena that cannot be attributed to conventional sources. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the Pocatello High School case involves the main stairwell, where student 𝗦𝗰𝗵𝗵 fell to his death in 1916. Throughout the decades, reports of a pushing sensation on these stairs have persisted. Between 1920 and 2023, school records document 17 serious falling accidents on this staircase, 3 resulting in hospitalizations. In each case, the victims reported feeling as if they had been physically pushed from behind, though no one was present. In 2007, then sophomore Tyler Blackwood suffered a broken arm after falling down 8 steps. His statement to school administrators was recorded as follows: "I know how this sounds, but I swear someone pushed me. I was just walking down, not running or messing around. And suddenly it felt like 2 hands shoved me hard between my shoulder blades. I turned my head as I was falling and nobody was there. Just cold air. Really cold. And I thought I heard someone laughing, but like, not mean laughing. More like a kid playing a prank." In 2022, the school installed additional handrails and non-slip treads on all stairwells as a safety measure. Interestingly, reported falling incidents decreased significantly, though reports of the pushing sensation continued. This suggests that whatever force might be at work, modern safety measures can at least mitigate its effects. The most recent significant event in our case file occurred on March 18, 2023. Exactly 131 years to the day after Clara Boudin's suicide. At approximately 4:15 p.m., after most students had left for the day, the fire alarm system activated without apparent cause. During the subsequent building check, maintenance supervisor Ray Whitehorse discovered water flowing from beneath the door of the female staff restroom on the 3rd floor, the modern equivalent of the location where Clara died in the original building. According to Whitehorse's statement, all the sinks were running full blast, but nobody was in there. I checked every stall, and they were empty. The weird thing is, I had just walked past that bathroom maybe 2 minutes before the alarm went off, and it was fine. No water, no one going in or out. And get this, when I tried to turn off the faucets, they wouldn't shut off at first. I had to really force them. And even then, 2 of them kept trickling. Maintenance records show we replaced all those fixtures last summer, so they shouldn't have any issues. And here's the creepy part. Written in the condensation on the mirror were the words, "Still sorry." I'm not claiming it was anything supernatural, but I've worked in this building for 11 years, and there's just something about that 3rd floor that doesn't feel right. The school surveillance system captured Whitehorse entering the bathroom after the alarm, but the interior of the restroom itself had no cameras for privacy reasons. The footage does clearly show that no one entered or exited the bathroom in the 15 minutes prior to the alarm activation. Water analysis from the sinks revealed nothing unusual, though temperature readings were significantly colder than the building's water supply should have produced, measuring 38 degrees Fahrenheit, compared to the normal 68 degrees in other facilities throughout the building. Collected over more than a century, the evidence from Pocatello High School presents one of the most compelling and consistent cases of paranormal activity I've encountered in my career. While individual incidents might be explained away by structural peculiarities, pranksters, or equipment malfunctions, the pattern and consistency across generations strongly suggest phenomena beyond conventional explanation. Personal notes. After reviewing all available evidence and conducting my own on-site investigations at Pocatello High School, I find myself unusually convinced of paranormal activity at this location. In most cases I investigate, I can identify rational explanations for at least 90% of reported phenomena. At PHS, that ratio is reversed. Approximately 90% of documented incidents defy conventional explanation. What's particularly compelling is not just the volume of unexplained events, but their apparent connection to specific historical tragedies. The phenomena appear localized to areas where deaths occurred, and often manifest in ways that reflect the circumstances of those deaths. Clara's remorse manifesting in bathroom incidents, Henry's presence on the stairs where he fell, and Charlotte's music in the auditorium. While I maintain professional neutrality in my official capacity, I must acknowledge that if ghosts exist, Pocatello High School almost certainly houses several. The electromagnetic anomalies, temperature fluctuations, and audio phenomena have been documented with sophisticated equipment under controlled conditions. The consistency of witness accounts across generations, often from individuals with no knowledge of the building's history, strongly suggests these experiences are not the product of suggestion or folklore. I remain particularly disturbed by the pushing incidents on the main stairwell. Unlike many paranormal reports that merely unsettle witnesses, this phenomenon has caused actual physical harm. I've recommended to school administrators that they consider bringing in specialists to address this specific issue, perhaps through spiritual cleansing or dedicated memorial recognition of Henry Vettner's tragic death. Evidence log. Original police report regarding Clara Bodine's death, 1892. Margaret Wheeler's personal journal entries, 1892-1893. School maintenance records documenting unexplained cold spots, 1920-2023. Walter Chambers interview transcript, 1963. Agent Thomas Calloway's electromagnetic survey, 1975. Dr. Eleanor Westfield's environmental analysis data, 1984. Pocatello Police Department incident reports, 43 total, 1990-2023. Security camera footage of hallway apparition, December 16, 2013. Security system logs documenting auditorium incident, January 22, 2018. Dr. Eliza Braun's acoustic analysis and recordings, October 2021. Maintenance reports regarding third-floor bathroom incident, March 18, 2023. Photographic documentation of "Still Sorry" message on bathroom mirror, Temperature data from water samples, March 18, 2023. 137 witness statements spanning 1915-2023. Case status. Update. This case remains classified as unexplained. While conventional explanations have been thoroughly explored, they fail to account for the consistency, duration, and specific characteristics of the reported phenomena. Annual monitoring will continue, with particular attention to anniversary dates of documented deaths. March 18th, November 4th, February 12th. School administrators have implemented additional safety measures in high-activity areas, but have declined formal spiritual intervention at this time, citing concerns about drawing additional attention to the school's reputation. The Pocatello High School case serves as a reminder that some locations seem to retain impressions of tragic events long after they occur. Whether these impressions manifest through known scientific principles we have yet to fully understand, or represent genuine spiritual remnants of those who once lived, they deserve our respectful attention and careful documentation. This is Detective James Miller, Case File Idaho 1892 PHS signing off.